And I hope the angry dragons are not breathing fire on you, because they're breathing fire all around the world. As we're going into our 11th month in this pandemic, they have just been damaging so many people. But I'm going to give you ways tonight to tame your angry dragon. So here's the angry dragon. It's causing so much trouble around the world. And at Amen Clinics, a lot of people come to us because of their temper, that it just gets the best of them. And it gets them into trouble at work. It gets them into trouble in their relationships. It gets them into trouble with their friends and their community settings. I've had the blessing, or the curse, depending on how you look at it, of scanning over 100 murderers, about 1,000 convicted felons. I've scanned pretty much anybody that's done anything bad, from bombers and robbers and arsonists and rapes and domestic violence, child abuse, and the stories are just horrifying. And nobody ever thinks about the brain. That could that head injury where you damaged your left frontal lobe or your left temporal lobe be involved? Of course it could. So how do you know if you have the angry dragon? So you can take our quiz, knowyourdragons.com. And if you have more than one, it's normal. But the angry dragon is actually one of the more common ones of the people that come to see us. So the origin of the angry dragon, now sometimes it's just your brain. My hero story that got 40 million views on Facebook was, I tell the story of my 9-year-old nephew, Andrew, who attacked a little girl on the baseball field for no particular reason at all, out of the blue. He had dark thoughts, horrible thoughts. It turned out he had a cyst the size of a golf ball occupying the space of his left temporal lobe. When the neurosurgeon drained the cyst, his behavior completely went back to normal. So sometimes anger's a brain issue. So if you've been to counseling and you tried to get your anger under control and you just get these dark, evil, awful thoughts, coming to one of the Amen clinics can actually be really helpful. Sometimes the origin of the angry dragon is you have hurts from the past. When I was a small child, my older brother beat me up virtually every day. I have home movies, and there's no home movies where I'm not getting beaten up. And that can cause people to be angry. If you've been shamed, if you've been disappointed, if others modeled angry behavior, they taught you this is how men or this is how women solve problems, that can be problematic. What triggers the angry dragon? When you're reminded of hurts, shame, or past disappointments. When you don't get your way. Based on our brain imaging work, actually, people follow my work know I subtype things, whether it's ADD, anxiety, depression, overeating, addictions. I subtype anger a long time ago. You can have impulsive violence where you just don't think, you just react. You can have compulsive violence, think stalkers, where you just can't let go of the negative thought. And sometimes you can have, whoops, hang on one second. Got it. Sometimes it can just come out of the blue for little or no reason, just like in my nephew. And if that's the kind of anger you have, scan. Could be really important. So when you don't get your way, that's the compulsive violence. That's our persistent brain type. And if you want to know your brain type, I know I have dragons and brain types, brainhealthassessment.com. Learn which of the 16 brain types you have. You can be angry to get others to leave you alone. Teenagers often do that, sometimes spouses. Sometimes one spouse uses a lot of words and the other one gets overwhelmed with words, and to get you to shut up, becomes angry. So how does the angry dragon cause you to react? Rage, irritability. You're rude. You bully people, belittle people. You're annoying, fighting, punishing, stonewalling. You stonewall people like you just won't talk to them. It's one of the kisses of death in a relationship. So if you want to get divorced, stonewall the other person. The other one is contempt. So how do we tame the angry dragon? 8 ways. Number 1, see it as a problem. See it as a problem to solve. So start tracking when you get angry. I often tell people you can't change what you don't measure. So I have my patients journal, it's them or their children. Clarity of goals. Know what you want in that situation. And then you ask yourself, does my behavior get me what I want? So for example, never angry around my wife. Why? Because I want a kind, caring, loving, supportive, passionate relationship with her. And how is that going to help me? I'm always asking myself with my behavior, does it fit? If I say this, if I do this, if I have this tone of voice, does it fit the goals I have for myself? So I'm not shaming or shoulding. I'm just like, does it fit? Be aware of the danger signs. Begin to pay attention to your body right before you get angry. Do you start to breathe too fast? Do you get confused? Do you get overwhelmed? Does your face get red? Just begin to pay attention. Protect your blood sugar. Anger is likely to come. So I've treated a lot of really well-known people, and one of them had been arrested a lot. Like, famous and in the news in a bad way. And when I took his blood work, I caught he had a really low blood sugar. So he had hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. So if I got him to eat, which he did 4 or 5 times a day, small meals, and protect his blood sugar, no more issues with the paparazzi or the police. Protect your sleep. When you get less than 7 hours of sleep at night, you have lower overall blood flow to the brain, which generally means more bad decisions. Breathe. You start getting upset, this is going to take less than a minute. 3 seconds in. Hold it for a second. 6 seconds out. Watch what you're thinking when you're breathing. But if I can just get you to do that 10 times, when you're really angry at one of your children, or you're angry at a customer, you're angry at your spouse. 10, not fast, slow, deep breaths help you so much. You really feel like things are getting out of control, take a break. I call it the bathroom technique. You're really upset? I have to go to the bathroom. Nobody argues with you. And if you're really upset, just take a big book to the bathroom. Take a time out. And if these simple things don't help you, get help. This is so important because untreated anger leads to divorce.
it leads to incarceration. It leads to all sorts of problems that you just don't want. Now, what are the movies the angry dragon loves? The Shining, Jaws, Halloween, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs. And what meditations will help you deal with the angry dragon? I express my anger in ways so that others can hear. I always say there are ways to say things and there are ways to say things. And I think the most gentle way, so someone can actually hear it, is the most appropriate. And if you can't, don't forget the bathroom technique. I accept responsibility if my anger has hurt someone. It's really okay to say, I'm sorry. But then do something about it so you don't have to say, I'm sorry, over and over again. I direct my anger appropriately. All anger is not bad. If you just think of Jesus in the temple where he got really angry, it's not bad. I mean, that was appropriate. But you want to just ask yourself, is my reaction appropriate to the situation? I do not use anger to scare or frighten other people. I express my anger in words, never physical actions, unless someone I love is threatened. Getting control of anger is just so important. All of this comes from my new book, Your Brain is Always Listening. If you go to knowyourdragons.com, you can find out which of the 13 dragons from the past you have. If you pre-order the book, I have 4 special gifts for you. If you go to yourbrainisAlwaysListening.com, we've already given away like 1,000 free coupons for a bottle of Happy Saffron. There's hypnosis audios, there's a playbook, there's a special event. In fact, on February 9th, so a week from tonight, I'm going to do a 90-minute event and really introduce you to all of the dragons. yourbrainisAlwaysListening.com/event. Invite your friends. We already have like 10,000 people that are going to show up. And I would just love if you and your family were here, because, you know, your dragons are always bringing fire on their dragons as well. It's sort of like a modern day Game of Thrones. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.